guys, it's Rebecca. So today I'm going to be doing a little recent reads video. So this isn't over any specific time period or anything. These are just some of the books that I have got through recently, and I just thought that I would share some of my thoughts on these books. These are also in no particular order, so I'll just go through them in general and talk about what I thought for each of them. So the first book is Magnolia Parks, The Long Way Home by Jessa Hastings. I don't think that I talked about this, so I thought I might as well include it. I loved this. I cried my eyes out at it. I just absolutely loved it. I am such a massive Magnolia Parks fan. If you haven't heard of this series, it's like Gossip Girl set in England. So it follows a rich group of friends who are like socialites. It's like high society London. The books jump between characters. So in the Magnolia Parks books, we follow mainly Magnolia and BJ. There is also the Daisy Hates books. So it goes Magnolia, Daisy Hates, Magnolia, Daisy Hates in that order. I would definitely say that I prefer reading from Daisy's point of view because I'm not the biggest fan of BJ, but I do absolutely love Magnolia, and this book made me love Magnolia even more. And I did end up giving this 5 stars because it made me cry and cry and cry. Like, I actually had a meltdown at the end of this. So I absolutely love this. I'm very, very, very excited to get to Into the Dark. So the next book that I read was Cecilia by Ming Chang. This book was actually sent to me by Penguin, and I was so happy to receive this book. But unfortunately, I did end up giving it 2 stars because I do have to be honest, and I really didn't enjoy this one whatsoever. I do feel bad because it did only come out in June. I was technically meant to talk about it just as it came out, but also that probably wouldn't have been the best idea because there would have just been my like negative review as soon as the book was coming out. So it's probably better for me to talk about it a bit later on anyway. This book is very short, but I found it so hard to get through. It did really drag on. In my opinion, it is really nonsensical, and basically had requested it because it was described as weird, and whenever I had thought of that, I kind of imagined like good weird, like kind of Mona Awad vibes, and this was like nearly there. What was good about this was there would be the odd line that was really good, and I was thinking the author can clearly write really well. I wish she would just go for like that kind of angle rather than bad weird, because a lot of it was talked about like bodily fluids, and it wasn't even that it was like necessarily disgusting. It was disgusting, but sometimes that can be done in a way that's good. In my opinion, this just made absolutely no sense. It was just really jumping all over the place. A lot of the times I really didn't know what was going on, and I was paying attention, I was trying to understand, but it just felt like it was trying to be really deep and really weird, but that's all that it was weird. I didn't connect to the characters, I didn't feel anything for them, and unfortunately this was a really disappointing book. Maybe it would be something that other people would enjoy, especially if you like weird novels. My camera just overheated, so not sure what the last thing I said was, but pretty sure I was just saying that I gave Cecilia 2 stars. But yeah, I was very disappointed with this, and it just wasn't what I was hoping for or what I was really expecting from the book. So another book that I read recently was The Do's and Donuts of Love by Adiba Yagidar. So I loved this book. I absolutely love her books. I think that they are absolutely amazing. Hopefully I didn't actually mispronounce her name whenever I read that out, because I need to actually look into how to pronounce her name properly, because I absolutely love her books. She always writes like really cute, fun, fluffy female romances, and I actually just think that they are so good. I never read good YA books anymore, but she just writes the perfect fun YA books. I absolutely love her characters. This was such a fun book. It basically follows this girl Shireen, and her parents own a donut shop in Dublin. That is another thing that I do love about these books, is that they're always set in Ireland because the author lives in Ireland. So I always really like that because I am Irish, so I always really appreciate that. So this follows Shireen, and her parents own a donut shop, and basically she gets the opportunity to be part of what's called the Junior Irish Baking Competition. So it's basically like the Great British Bake Off but for children in Ireland. She gets to take part in that, but then it turns out that her ex-girlfriend is also part of the competition, so it is just really fun, and it was so nice to follow along with those characters characters. She is such a good author, honestly. If you have the chance to read any of her books, you really should, if you just want a fun, easy read. The genre that she writes, people like underestimate how hard it is like to write the exact kind of like fun, fluffy YA book, and I just think that she just writes everything that I am looking for. So absolutely loved this, have loved everything that I've read by her so far, and I will definitely be reading more. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. The next book that I finished recently is The Lighthouse Switchers by CJ Cook. Oh my god, I love this. I gave it 5 stars. I absolutely loved this book. It is like a mystery, thriller, magical realism, fantasy. Oh my god, it is amazing. It is set on a fictional island in Scotland, and it does jump between timelines, but we are following this family who arrive on the island because the main character is escaping from her life basically, and she has been hired to paint a mural within the lighthouse, and strange things start to happen. It turns out that on this island there were hundreds of women killed during the witch trials, and it just follows that because, well, strange things start to happen, and it is just so good. I absolutely love this book from like start to finish. I loved it. The author is actually from Belfast, which made it even better. I'll definitely be reading more from her as well now. I love this book so much. If you can read it, then definitely go and read this. It is absolutely amazing. The next book that I finished is Where Angels Fear to Tread by E.M. Forster. This was my second E.M. Forster book that I have read. This is actually his first novel that he wrote. I give this 4 stars. I thought this was absolutely amazing. It's a really nice short novel. It is set in Italy. I don't want to say too much about this book because it is so short, but it is basically a discussion about class and about family, and specifically class in England versus class abroad, and how that's viewed and how that was viewed in the early 1900s. I loved this more than I liked Hard's End. I didn't actually like Hard's End that much. I way preferred this one. It is so good and like so witty and funny. I actually laughed out loud multiple times during this book. If you just want a book that is really character driven but also makes you think and you want to read a classic, then I would highly recommend this one, especially if you're trying to get into classics. It is short, it is easy to read, and it is really funny and just such a well written novel. So I'm definitely going to be trying more from E.M. Forster now. I definitely was like just like so impressed by this book. It made me think that I should probably reread Hard's End and like rethink how I viewed that, because I did read that like quite a few years ago now, so it might be that my tastes have changed a bit and I would actually really enjoy Hard's End. But either way, I highly recommend this book. It was a 4 star, and yeah, I just loved it. I thought it was great. The next book was also sent to me by the publisher, and that is Calla by Colin Walsh. This was sent to me because it has been pitched as for fans of The Secret History. That's why I was sent this, because I talk about The Secret History a lot. It's one of my favourite books, and I was really happy whenever I received this book, and I am still so happy that I have a copy of this book because it is also signed, so that is so cool. I gave it 3 stars in the end. I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was really good. It is basically a thriller mystery, and it is about a group of friends where one of the friends actually goes missing. We follow the group of friends whenever they are older, and as they try and discover what actually happened to their friend. Throughout the novel, we do discover what did happen to Calla. It is a good book. I would definitely recommend this, especially if you like that kind of genre. It is well written. However, I think that there was just some parts of this book that just felt a bit surreal. Not even like surreal, but unrealistic. I really struggled with some of that. I mean, maybe I just don't know enough, or I'm missing something, or I don't understand something, but to me, I just felt like some of this was just a bit unrealistic, and if there was just like some slight changes to the end, then I would have way preferred this book. I also found that I was a bit bored at times. Not necessarily that I wanted things to be revealed faster, but that I just wanted a bit more connection to some of the characters, because there was definitely some characters that I connected to more than others, and that I felt that I was like more interested in than others. Well, some characters where their inner voice just seemed a lot more like alive and I could follow a lot better. I did enjoy this one. I'd say it's probably more close to a 3.5, but I definitely would still recommend this one, but it just wasn't my favourite thing in the world. But I definitely am glad I read it, and definitely so grateful that I have this book. So the next book that I read is actually the most recent book that I finished, and that is Happy Place by Emily Henry. I have had this for a year, since last year whenever it came out. I got this last year for my birthday and finally got around to this one. This is basically a romance. It follows a girl called Harriet. It's kind of like a fake dating trope, second chance romance kind of thing mixed into one. Basically, it follows Harriet, who arrives on her summer holiday with her group of friends, only for her to realise that her ex-fiance is actually there as well, and she wasn't expecting that. And it just follows them as they have to pretend that they're still dating so that they don't ruin the trip. I did enjoy this one. I gave this 3.5 stars, so I'm pretty sure I actually gave it 3 on Goodreads, but it's definitely a 3.5. Would have probably rated this a 3 if not for the ending. I did really enjoy this book. I thought it was really good, but it just wasn't as good as I was expecting. I did find as well that I was a bit bored at times. Like, even though like I'm not saying that like I wouldn't recommend this or that I didn't enjoy it. I definitely really enjoyed it. I just wouldn't read it again or anything, and I wasn't like blown away by it. I definitely would try more Emily Henry books. I now have Funny Stories, so I'm definitely going to be reading that. I just wasn't like blown away by it as some people are by Emily Henry, and maybe that's partially was the hype. Maybe I would have enjoyed it more if it didn't have so much hype, but I am definitely glad that I own this book because it is so pretty. I just think the hardback is beautiful, so I'm definitely glad that I have this in my collection, and glad that I finally have read my first ever Emily Henry. I did really enjoy this, so I don't want it to seem like my rating was low or anything. I did really enjoy this. I don't know, I just felt like there was something kind of missing, just a tiny bit bored at times. Otherwise I would have given this a 4, and also the ending is really good. I was really happy with the way that this ended. I thought it was the perfect ending, so definitely would still recommend this book, and definitely so glad that I read it. So the next book that I read as well, I almost forgot about this one. I read this one on the Kindle, and that is Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. I really enjoyed this book. I gave it 4 stars. I thought it was a really cute book, and it was my first ever Abby Jimenez book. Basically, I had seen someone on TikTok talk about it, and I just thought, you know what, I need like a book to read. I'll get that, because I had brought it on holiday with me. I just had it on my Kindle. I ended up really enjoying this one, so I'm definitely going to be reading more Abby Jimenez books. This basically follows Emma and Justin. The book starts with Justin posting an "Am I the Asshole" post on Reddit, and he's basically saying like, every time I date a girl, as soon as we break up, she then finds her soulmate. And the other main character, Emma, reads it and realizes that's exactly what happens to her as well. Every time she dates someone, they break up, and then the guy finds their soulmate like straight after. So basically they message each other, and they decide to go on some dates and see what happens. So it is really fun. I really enjoyed this book because the characters felt quite real, and I just really enjoyed reading it, and it was just fun. It was just like a fun romance. It wasn't really any more deep than that, but yeah, I definitely did enjoy this one, and I would definitely recommend it, and I'll definitely be reading more Abby Jimenez in the future. So that's it for this video. If you did enjoy watching, then please give it a like and subscribe, because I would really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one.